Girls are wet when they show these 5 signs. Old stoic wisdom. A woman may never explicitly tell you what she's feeling. She might not speak the words, but her body will reveal the truth. If you're not attuned to the signals, you might miss them. You might misinterpret her actions and chase after something that's not there, when in fact, the real power lies in letting her pursue you. Here's the raw truth. A woman doesn't need to announce her desire. Her nervous system speaks for her far more loudly than any external factor like looks, wealth, or even your choice of words. It all comes down to how you present yourself. When you hold the right energy, the right frame of mind, her subconscious can't help but respond, and the signals begin to leak out in ways she doesn't even realize in this guide. I'll reveal the 5 unmistakable signs that show she's deeply drawn to you, whether she consciously knows it or not. By the end, you'll never again second-guess the heat in the air when she's near number 1. Her eyes drop, then snap away. Don't mistake the power of a woman's gaze. It doesn't lie. Her eyes are the clearest window into her desires, especially when they shift, when they betray her intentions. You see, when she's aroused by your presence, it all starts with her eyes. You'll catch it in that split second. Her gaze flickers downward, then snaps away. It's almost as if she's trying to control the flood of emotions bubbling inside her. She longs to look to study you, savor your presence. But she's hesitant. She doesn't want to appear too eager, too obvious. But in this battle of Wiltshire, body betrays her every time her pupils dilate. That unconscious primal reaction that screams arousal that can't be hidden. No matter how hard she tries, then almost as if an invisible force yanks her gaze away, she looks down, quick sharp. It's like her brain hit an emergency button, wide down because it's instinct deep in her biological wiring. That downward glance is a signal of submission. It's primal. It says you lit. It's a silent, delicate surrender. Even though she might not realize it when she looks away so swiftly, don't mistake it for shyness. It's not just politeness at play. It's desire masked by etiquette, natural instinct fighting to stay hidden beneath the surface. Look closer. You walk into a room, lock eyes with her, and there it is. Brief but unmistakable downward glance. Then without skipping a beat, she busies herself with her phone, her hair, her bag. Anything to avoid you, anything to shift her focus. She may look distracted, but don't you dare think she's uninterested. No, she's just processing the energy you've just thrown into the room. Her nervous system is on, alerts, saying, I feel his presence, and I don't know how to deal with it. But here's where most men falter. Don't chase that glance. Don't think that a quick fleeting look is your permission to act. Don't let your desperation push you forward. Instead, take a breath, stand tall. Maintain your posture, stay anchored. She's waiting for you to lead the dance. And when you don't rush it, when you don't chase, the tension builds, the curiosity simmers, and soon her guarded facade will crack. 'Cause when you stay centered, when you remain unshaken, her glances get longer, her silence speaks louder, and before long, her desire has nowhere to hide. It will spill over. That's when you know you've won. When her body no longer hides the truth. Comment to remember, I stay centered, and I let her desire come to me. Number 2, when she touches herself, not the way you think. A woman's body speaks in subtle ways. Often she doesn't realize it, but her actions are a clear signal. You're in a conversation, her voice flowing with ease, but suddenly her hand brushes her neck, glides over her wrist, or nervously adjust her ring. Her fingers find her thigh, her sleeve, or her collarbone. You might ask yourself, is she bored? Is she fidgeting? No, she is doing something far more significant. She is regulating her nervous system. Your presence is triggering a reaction. It's time to be brutally honest. When a woman experiences subtle arousal or tension around you, her body is compelled to release that energy, but she can't directly express it. Instead, she turns to the only thing she can control, herself. Her hands begin to move instinctively, touching, rubbing, adjusting, seeking relief from the mounting energy. It could be the way she holds her necker, the way her fingers slide down her thigh, how she discreetly fixes her bra strap. These actions, though seemingly innocuous, are deeply intentional. Arousal needs an outlet, and her body seeks it in the only available way. Now, here's the real truth. Pay attention to where her fingers go. When her hands hover near sensitive area, her throat, inner wrist, thighs, or lips, she is unconsciously signaling a deeper level of attraction. Your presence is stirring something in her, whether she admits it or not, and here's where the real mastery comes in. You do nothing, you stay still, you remain silent, you hold eye contact. You don't shift your energy, you don't tease or call out her movements, you simply remain composed. Your steady, calm presence becomes the ultimate test of your masculinity. You maintain control as the tension builds. She begins to crave not just release, but your energy, the strength of your calmness and power. Why does this work? Because women are deeply drawn to strength, and strength is found in self-mastery. A man who can maintain composure in the face of her body's reactions shows immense control over his own energy. This is what she is subconsciously seeking. She doesn't need to flirt or speak her desires aloud. Her body has already confessed it. When a stoic man sees a woman's body reacting like this, he doesn't need to exploit it. He simply understands she is not flirting. She is responding to his energy in the only way she knows how. The key to mastering this dynamic is in your silence. When you remain grounded, unwavering, and still, you provide a space for her to reveal her true feelings without pressure. This is how you win, not by reacting, but by simply existing as the powerful force that she is responding to. Woman's body will give you everything you need to know, but only if you have the discipline to observe, to stay calm, to understand without acting. Honored immediately, let her desire be her own confession. Your masculinity, your centeredness becomes the final piece of the puzzle. This lesson resonate. Control over self is the ultimate power. When you hold that control, you don't have to chase or react. You simply command her energy by embodying your own number 3, the tone shift that exposes hidden desire. When a woman's voice changes in your presence, you don't need to hear the words. You don't need to see a confession. What you must do is feel it. The subtle shift in the tone, the change in the way she speaks. That is the real language of desire. Her voice becomes lighter, softer, slower, or even higher, betraying a hidden current of arousal coursing through her. This isn't a conscious decision, it's a survival response triggered by the autonomic nervous system, sending ripples of energy through her body. She may not even realize it, but her breathing shifts. Her tempo slow, her words become tinged with brayness. This is a primal signal, one that you can learn to detect. If you are centered, calm, and perceptive when you feel this shift, you know it's time to take charge, to step into your power and not fall into the trap of matching her playfulness. Too many men rush to match her energy, joke louder, or talk faster. But in doing so, they lose the moment, they lose the tone. But not you, a man grounded in stoic wisdom. A man who understands power remains unshaken. When her voice rises and fluctuates, he does not mirror it. He stays rooted, silent, yet commanding, watching, and in this stillness his presence amplifies. Her voice drops once again. She leans in, she slows down. The dance of attraction unfolds. She is not adjusting to be cute. She is adjusting to your dominance. In that moment, her body craves more of your energy. Her desire is unspoken, but it is undeniable. This is the moment you command, the moment you own. Her voice is the key to the hidden desire beneath the surface, and you must recognize it. You must be the anchor when the world around you starts to swirl. You must be the stoic force that stands unwavering while she adapts to your rhythm. The power is yours, but only if you stay composed and don't rush. The moment you lose your frames, she shifts. She falls back into a state of uncertainty, and you lose your edge. The true mark of strength is knowing when to act and when to remain still. This is how you maintain control, is Marcus Aurelius. Said the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The key to understanding her, to winning her desire, lies not in chasing it, but in creating the space where she can't help but lean into you. Control is not forceful. It is calm, decisive, and unyielding. Keep your presence steady and watch how her voice shifts. How her body responds. That is the moment to move, and when you do, it will be with authority, with certainty. The ancient wisdom of the Stoics teaches us to master our emotions and remain composed in every situation. In modern life, this ability to remain grounded is more valuable than ever. The world is fast-paced, filled with distractions and noise. But a man who stays calm, a man who understands the language of silence and presence, is a man who commands respect. His energy is magnetic, and the women around him can't help but be drawn to it. A woman may not always show you her desire in words, but she will show you in the subtle changes of her voice. It is a language that has existed for centuries, and it is yours to learn, but you must listen closely, stay present, and never lose your cool control. The moment control her response, and you will be the one who masters desire. Comment to remember: I stay composed and in control of every moment. Number 4. Cross legs and the power of the pelvic lock. When a woman crosses her legs while talking to you, don't be mistaken into thinking it's just about comfort or style. It's far more than that. This subtle gesture is in fact a biological lock-in unconscious move that holds far more meaning than you can imagine. While most people brush it off as a simple posture adjustment, it's actually a message from her nervous system signaling something deeper. I feel exposed. And strangely, I like it more than I want to admit. Let's break this down through the lens of Stoic psychology and primal wiring to understand the power of the pelvic lock. When a woman becomes aroused, her body doesn't stay static. It starts to respond, especially in the lower half. Her thighs tense up, her pelvis rolls slightly forward, and she crosses her legs not as a form of protection, but to regulate the surge of desire building inside her. She's not trying to block you out, she's trying to manage the intensity she feels. This is known as muscular guardian and involuntary biological response. It's essential to grasp the significance of this moment. When a woman crosses her legs in this context, it's not an act of closing off or shutting you out. No, it's about creating a pressure point in the very area where she feels that internal tension. And this tension doesn't just arise out of nowhere, it's a direct result of the environment you've created. By maintaining a calm and stoic presence, you trigger an involuntary response. She becomes hyper-aware of her body, and as he does, she feels the need to gain control. She might adjust her position, subtly squeeze her thighs, or even bounce her foot slightly. It's all a form of internal regulation, biological mechanism working to contain the rising energy within hers. Where most men falter, they fail to recognize this tension for what it is. And instead, they lean in, encroach upon her space, and begin to speak faster, trying to validate the energy they think they've sensed. This is a huge mistake. When you do this, you kill the polarity, the very tension that can drive attraction. You must understand that the power in this situation lies in your ability to remain calm, composed, and present. A stoic man does nothing to disturb the energy at play. He remains rooted, grounded, allowing her to navigate her own tension without interference. The more composed you are, the more you amplify the inner chaos she's feeling. Crossed legs aren't a rejection. They're a containment strategy. They represent a way for her to hold in check the whirlwind of emotions building inside her. But here's the most profound part. That internal energy doesn't stay contained in her legs. No, it leaks into her thoughts, simmering in her mind long after you've left. She'll replay the moment, remembering how her thighs stayed clenched, how she shifted her position, how she fidgeted subtly, trying to manage the storm within. But most importantly, she'll remember how you didn't react. You didn't lean in. You didn't try to fill the silence. You remained still, calm, unaffected by the tension she was trying to control. This is where the magic happens. In her mind, you become the one who knew without her ever having to say a word. You didn't need her to articulate what she was feeling because you understood that's the power of the pelvic lock. You must realize that this moment, this delicate dance of attraction, is not about rushing in to fill the silence or confirm what you think you're sensing. It's about holding your frame, maintaining your composure, and letting the tension build in a way that benefits you. The more you remain calm, the more she's left to wrestle with the internal chaos of her own desire. This creates a polarity that draws her in, but only if you stay rooted and unmoved by her subtle attempts at regulation. You see, a woman may cross her legs, shift her posture, or subtly adjust her body, but that's not a sign to move closer or to speak faster. It's a sign that she's feeling something profound, something deep inside that she may not fully understand herself. And when you, as a stoic man, remain still, calm, and collected, you allow that energy to bubble up without disrupting it. He becomes more aware of her attraction to you, and in doing so, she'll find herself thinking about you long after you're gone. That is the true power of the pelvic lock. You must embrace this moment, understand the tension at play, and know that the more composed you are, the more irresistible you become. Number 5. Her legs move, but she's not going anywhere. When you're sitting near her, observe closely, her legs restless, shifting with subtle intensity. She's not touching you, nor is she speaking much, yet you can ignore the small movements. Her foot bouncing her, knee twitching, her thighs continuously shifting positions every few seconds. At first glance, it might seem like she's uncomfortable, anxious, or just bored. But you're wrong if you think that most men fail to understand this crucial moment. What she's actually doing is managing the pressure, the undeniable tension you have ignited in her without saying a word. Her body is responding to something deeper, something primal. This is called psychotic agitation, state of restlessness driven by internal arousal. Her body is trying to cope with the build-up of desire, but she isn't yet ready to express it out loud. It's the same way some people fidget when under pressure, but theirs is far more intense, far more charged. Her body reacts to the energy you've sparked within her, especially in the areas of her body that connect to reproductive and emotional responses. It's not just nervousness, it's not even about trying to escape. It's about containment. The pressure she's feeling is escalating, but she's trying to stay composed. It's almost as if her legs are trying to manage an electrical charge. The energy flowing in her, her body caught in a battle between self-control and desire. Her brain is working overtime to process the dopamine, oxytocin, and adrenaline that are coursing through her systems. He's trying to suppress the rising sensations. But here's the key. The stoic man, are completely unshaken. You're not reacting. You're not stepping in to fill the silence, to break the tension, or to relieve her discomfort. You are calm. You remain composed. You are not flinching. Most men would take this moment as a cue to lean in to make a joke, to break the silence in an attempt to alleviate the tension. But that is where they fail. They mistake her movements for anxiety or discomfort. They mistake her fidgeting as a cue for action. But you understand. You let the silence expand. You let her squirm a little. You give her space to feel the building pressure in her own body. You remain calm, grounded, centered, and in that stillness, in that unwavering composure, you become a force of nature. The more you remain unfazed, the more her movements become impossible for her to ignore. Her foot bouncing her legs, crossing and uncrossing, will become magnified. She starts to realize it too. Why can't she stop? Why does she feel this strange magnetic pull towards you? Why does she feel this way in your presence? And that question, that internal dialogue becomes the fire that burns inside her. It's not just physical anymore, it's psychological, and that's when the true power of attraction begins to unfold. Women, despite what many men think, don't fall into arousal only through physical stimulation. No, it's not just about the touch, the kiss, or the physicality. Women are far more deeply affected by psychological exposure, by the mental challenge of dealing with the attraction that builds around them. And when you remain calm in the face of her internal turmoil, you've created something more potent than any physical touch can generate. You've triggered an emotional and mental reaction in her that she can't control. You become the source of this uncontrollable pull. It's not your body, not your looks. It's your presence. It's your confidence. It's your ability to remain composed while she is caught in her own world of self-awareness. You remain in control of your own emotions and reactions. You force her to confront her own. Her body reacts without her permission, and she begins to wonder, why am I moving like this? Why do I feel so drawn to him? Why can't I control this pull? The power in this moment is yours. The longer you remain still, the more intense her awareness becomes. The more she struggles with her internal response to your presence, the more she is forced to recognize how much she desires your attention. Your presence, the attraction she feels for you, is no longer just physical. It's a psychological game she can't escape. The tension you've created is not just in her body, but in her mind. It's a feedback loop of attraction that she can't shake. You've become the trigger that ignites her thoughts, her feelings, and ultimately her actions. This is where the true mastery of the situation lies. The man who can sit still unshaken and disturbed by her movements is the man who commands power in this moment. He's the one who remains unreactive, letting the energy between them grow until it becomes undeniable. And when she starts questioning herself, wondering why she can't control her movements, why she can't control the pull towards you, that's when the real fire starts. It is not the strongest of the species that survive the most intelligent, but the one most responsive. To change, said Charles D. Arwin, you as the stoic Manair responding to the situation with calm and awareness that is your strength. You become the one she can't stop thinking about, not because you've acted, but because you've remained still poised and composed in today's world, where so many act to speak to break tension with words. You stand as the exception. In that silence, in that stillness, you become a powerful magnetic force. You trigger something in her that she can't control, and that is the true path to attraction. The power is not in the chase, not in the attempt to fill the space with words or actions. The power is in your ability to remain calm, composed, and in full control of yourself, while she experiences a storm of emotions. This is how you master the art of attraction. Let the energy build, let her move in, and you remain the calm center of the storm. That is when you'll have her mind, her body, and her desire. If you find this valuable, like, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more wisdom. Comment to remember, I remain calm and composed no matter the pressure. Number 6, she overtalks, then says nothing. You've seen it happen before. The conversation starts flowing light and playful with her sharing little details, asking questions, being chatty, and seemingly enjoying every moment. She's animated, eager to engage. But then something shifts. Without warning, she falls silent. The energy drains from her. She pulls inward, staring down at her hands or looking anywhere but at you. Her gaze drifts away. Her focus retreats as if she's suddenly lost in thought in her own world. It's subtle yet powerful. You might wonder what just happened. Don't mistake this shift for disinterest. It's not because you've said something wrong. It's not because she's lost in her own thoughts about something else. No, it's something far deeper, far more telling. This is the final confession, a moment when her internal desire rises to the surface, a moment where she cannot hide it anymore. Let me explain. When a woman is talking to you, especially in the early stages of a connection, she's doing more than just filling the silence. She's performing, playing a role. She's trying to impress you, trying to entertain you, perhaps subtly testing the waters of your interest. Her words are the mask, the shield, the distraction. But then the shift happens when she retreats into silence. It's as though the mask slips away and suddenly you see her vulnerability. She's no longer worried about entertaining or impressing you. She's no longer trying to show you her best side. She's simply processing. She's confronting something deeper within herself, something that you've triggered without even touching her, without escalating the situation, without chasing her down. That sudden drop from animated conversation to introspective silence is a sign that you've done something profound. You didn't chase her, you didn't push her, you didn't try to force a deeper connection, you just existed. And in that existence, you've made her aware of herself. You've made her aware of the desire she's feeling, of the attraction she's trying to suppress. You've created an internal pressure that her mind can no longer ignore. The silence is the result of her own subconscious need to process. This overwhelming attraction, she may not even understand it herself, but her body and mind have been awakened. The more she is forced to confront it, the more she retreats. It's as if the sheer weight of her desire has overwhelmed her ability to keep up the act, to continue the performance of being. Now, don't mistake this for a negative sign. In fact, it's a profound step forward in your connection. She may not be talking, but don't assume she's not thinking. Don't assume she's lost in thought about something else. Know she's lost in thought about you, about how you make her feel, about the rising tide of attraction that is forcing her to confront herself, to acknowledge what's happening between you two. She's no longer hiding behind her words. She's not pushing for validation or approval. She's simply processing how she feels. This is when her true emotions start to surface. When the intellectual games stop and the heart begins to speak. So don't chase her in this moment. Don't push. Don't try to fill the silence with meaningless words or nervously attempt to get her to talk again. Instead, give her the space to process, to acknowledge what's happening inside of her. This is the time when your presence is enough. When your quiet confidence and calm demeanor will speak louder than any words ever could. You've already done the hard work. You've triggered her emotions. You've stirred something deep inside her. Now let her internal world catch up to what's happening. Be patient. Understand that the silence is not rejection, but a sign that something deeper is unfolding. That sudden switch from talking to silence is her psyche's way of signaling that she's feeling something powerful, something raw, something she can't quite process yet. It's a sign that you've moved past the superficial and have entered into a territory where real emotions and connections reside. This is the moment when you must remain calm, composed, and present. Don't be desperate. Don't be anxious. Be the steady force in the room, the one thing she can hold on to in the midst of the emotional chaos she's experiencing. Let her feel safe to confront herself and let her desire for you grow. As she processes the intensity of it all, this isn't the time to rush in with more words or actions. This is the moment where silence speaks louder than anything. You could say, that's the power of your presence. That's the power of simply being enough. She's feeling it, and as long as you stay present and confident, he will continue to process and eventually she will break the silence. Just be patient and let her come to you in her own time. Conclusion. Girls are wet when they show these 5 signs. The stoic hub. Here's where most men mess up. They panic in the silence. They think the energy is gone and try to fill the void with jokes or chatter. That silence isn't awkwardness. It's attraction growing deeper. She's replaying everything in her mind, feeling every breath, every second near you. This is the moment your control matters most. Stay still. Don't lean forward. Let her sit with the intensity of what's happening. When she overtalks, she's avoiding her feelings. When she goes quiet, she's feeling them fully. You'll see her start to fidget, the breath shift, and then she'll give you that lingering look before quickly looking away. She knows what's happening now. She's drawn in, craving something. She doesn't even fully understand. The man who can stay composed, who doesn't pounce but remains calm through every sign, becomes the one she can't stop thinking about. You've learned to read what most men miss. And now you know attraction starts in the silence. In the subtle shifts in the way her body responds to your stillness, The more composed you are, the more she feels the tension without a word spoken. You don't need tricks, just awareness. You don't chase, you command. That's the silent power that makes her wet. Master it, and she'll be hooked.